What would you do if the person you reached out to save turned their back on your kindness, to steal from you only for you to discover that their betrayal was born from a nightmare you couldn't possibly imagine? The air inside the dark, claustrophobic alleyway is thick with the scent of damp pavement and desperation. Jack, the CEO who commands city skylines, and his wife, Tu Tien, stand over the trembling girl who just hours ago accepted their charity only to vanish with their wallet. She is huddled in the corner, her frame shaking, her eyes wide with the raw terror of someone who expects a beating. She clutches the stolen leather wallet to her chest, bracing for the fury of the powerful man who has cornered her. Is this a common thief, or is there a darker reason for her descent into crime? The silence is broken not by a shout but by a whisper. Why? Tu Tien's voice is steady, laced with a mix of heartbreak and confusion. We gave you everything you needed. Why would you throw it all away for this? The girl doesn't answer. She just lets out a jagged, gut-wrenching sob. As Jack steps closer, his shadow looming over her, the girl drops to her knees, the wallet falling into the mud. She doesn't beg for her freedom. She begs for her life. She confesses that the money wasn't for her, it was a desperate, final payment to the loan sharks who have held her younger brother captive since her mother's medical bills crippled her life. She wasn't stealing for greed. She was stealing to keep her family from being erased from existence. Jack and Tu Tien exchange. A look the steel in Jack's eyes softens into something far more complex, the burden of responsibility. The girl's confession hits them like a physical blow. They had seen her as a victim of circumstance, but they failed to see the syndicate tightening the noose around her neck. The thief is gone. In her place is a human being who has been pushed to the absolute brink of sanity. Back in the warmth of their living room, the atmosphere is transformed. The table is set with tea, not judgment. Jack, ever the strategist, has spent the last hour on his phone, verifying every harrowing detail of the girl's story. The local authorities have been bypassed, not to cover up a crime, but to ensure that the girl's brother is extracted safely before the syndicate realizes they've lost their leverage. Tu Tien reaches across the table, her hand resting firmly on the girl's cold, calloused fingers. If you had only spoken the truth from the start, Tu Tien says, her voice thick with empathy, we would have moved mountains to help you. Desperation is a trap, but thievery is a choice that will only destroy the future you're trying to build. The pivotal moment arrives. Jack doesn't ask for the money back. He doesn't even mention the theft. Instead, he reaches into his breast pocket and pulls out his checkbook. He scribbles a sum that would clear the debt, pay for the medical care, and secure a roof over their heads for the next year. He slides the check across the polished mahogany table. The girl stares at it, her vision blurring with tears of disbelief. She tries to speak, but her voice catches. This isn't a gift, Jack says, his voice low and serious. It's a clearing of the slate, but you need to understand one thing. Once you take this, the past dies here. You have to be willing to kill your old self. The girl collapses, pressing her forehead to the table, sobbing in a way that suggests she hasn't felt safety in years. She accepts the check, but Jack isn't finished. He leans forward, his presence filling the room. The money is the easy part, he continues. But a life built on handouts is a life that is never truly yours. If you want to survive, you need more than cash. You need a purpose. He pauses, his gaze shifting to Tu Tien, who nods in complete agreement. We have a position open. It's hard work, it's demanding, and it requires absolute honesty. You can stay here, start from the bottom, and earn your place, or you can walk out that door with the check and never look back. The choice is yours. The girl looks at them, her eyes reflecting the flickering candlelight. She sees not just a CEO and his wife, but the possibility of a world where people are judged by their potential, not just their failures. She bows her head in a gesture of profound submission and gratitude, promising that if she is given this chance, she will dedicate her life to working with the same integrity that they have shown her. 6 months pass. The farm is bustling with the quiet, industrious rhythm of success. In the main office of Jack's company, a young woman enters, moving with a grace and professional poise that is unrecognizable from the girl in the alley. She is dressed in a crisp, elegant suit, her hair styled with care, her eyes bright with the confidence of someone who has finally found her footing. She approaches Tu Tien, who is reviewing documents at her desk. The client meeting is confirmed for 10, and I've organized the inventory reports you requested. The assistant says, her tone crisp and capable. She is no longer a scavenger, she is a partner in their vision. She walks with purpose, a far cry from the frantic, fearful girl of the past. Her transformation isn't just cosmetic, it's an evolution of character. She has become the engine behind some of Tu Tien's most successful outreach programs. The irony isn't lost on anyone. The girl who once stole for survival is now the one managing the logistics of the charity that sustains the community. She moves through the office with a quiet power, a living testament to the fact that grace is the most effective form of rehabilitation. The turning point comes on a rainy Tuesday. While leaving the office, she spots a young man huddled in the same doorway where she was once caught. He is hungry, dirty, and eyeing the passers-by with that same familiar look of predatory desperation, the look of a person who has run out of options. The temptation to keep walking is strong. The instinct to protect her new life, to pretend that she doesn't see him, is even stronger. But she stops. She turns around. She walks over to the young man. He flinches, expecting a rebuke or a kick. She doesn't offer either. She reaches into her purse, pulls out a wad of cash, not from the company, but from her own first month's salary, and presses it into his hand. "I know what it's like to be at the end of your rope," she says, her voice steady and kind. "I was exactly where you are right now. I thought the only way out was to take, to hide, to lie. But there are people who believe in second chances. You don't have to keep living this way. Take this, find a meal, and then come to this address. I'll be waiting." She hands him a business card, the very same card Jack once handed her. As she walks away, she catches the sight of Jack and Tu Tien watching from the balcony above. They aren't intervening, they are observing. They aren't checking up on her, they are witnessing the fruit of their own faith. Jack looks at Tu Tien, a slow, proud smile spreading across his face. They don't need to say a word. They have seen the cycle of destruction broken. They have watched a life that was once in total decay flourish into something that now sustains others. The final scene captures the beauty of this transition. It isn't a grand cinematic explosion of joy. It is the quiet, steady realization of a job well done. The office lights are dimming. The city is settling into the night, and the girl, now a woman, looks out the window at the skyline that Jack helped build. She realizes that her story isn't a tragic ending. It's a beautiful, ongoing beginning. She isn't just a beneficiary of their kindness, she is a carrier of it. And as she turns off her desk lamp, the screen goes dark, leaving us with a simple, profound truth that hangs in the air. The greatest punishment is not a prison cell, it is the weight of someone's unearned mercy. A weight that finally forces you to stand up straight. The story of the girl, Jack, and Tu Tien is a mirror held up to the audience. We have all been in that alleyway at some point. We have all felt the cold, crushing fear of not having enough, of wanting to take, of wanting to hide. But we have also all been given or offered the chance to be the ones who reach out. The Jack Tu Tien world thrives because it addresses the core struggle of the human condition, the tension between survival and morality. As we pull back to see the farm, the crops are tall, the house is finished, and the life they have built feels solid, enduring, and real. It's a place where the rules of the world don't apply, a place where empathy is prioritized over profit, and where a mistake doesn't have to be a death sentence. It's a place that people are drawn to, not because of the luxury, but because of the humanity. And that humanity is the true success story. The pacing of their lives is different now. They aren't rushing to build walls. They are expanding their garden. Every episode is a testament to the fact that when you invest in people, you aren't just creating an employee or a friend, you are creating a legacy. The girl, once a source of threat, is now a source of strength. The wallet she once stole is now a footnote in a much larger, more meaningful narrative. This is the payoff of long-term patience, the moment when you realize that your influence has grown beyond your own hands, that it has reached into the future and reshaped it. As we look closer at the girl's growth, we notice the details, the way she handles the stress of a meeting with a calm that she didn't possess 6 months ago, the way she manages the interns with a patience that only comes from having been in their shoes. The way she holds her head up even when things go wrong. She is a completely different person. She has taken the pain of her past and turned it into the armor for her future. She is no longer afraid of the syndicate, of the police, or of the dark. She has faced the worst of the city and survived. And in doing so, she has become a beacon for others. The story is a masterclass in retention because it doesn't just present a happy ending, it presents a constant, evolving challenge. Every day, Jack and Tu Tien are faced with new people, new problems, and new ethical dilemmas. The farm isn't just a retreat, it's a hub of human interaction. The tension remains because the world remains a difficult place, but their approach to it has become a masterwork of human connection. We continue to watch because we want to see how they handle the next curveball. We watch because we want to see if the world will continue to reward their boldness. And in the end, it's not about how much they've given away, it's about how much they've gained. They have gained the loyalty of someone who once would have done anything to destroy them. They have gained a witness to their integrity. They have gained a partner in their mission. And most importantly, they have gained the knowledge that they are capable of changing the trajectory of a life. That knowledge is the ultimate reward. That is the true, lasting wealth of Jack and Tu Tien. The final frame, a shot of the three of them standing together in the field, is a visual anchor of everything the series represents. It's a picture of a family built not by blood, but by choice. A family built on the foundation of shared struggle and mutual respect. The sun is setting behind them, casting a warm, golden glow over the land they have worked so hard to cultivate. It's a peaceful scene, but it's a scene that is built on the ruins of the past. It's a reminder that beauty is not the absence of tragedy. It is the presence of resilience. As the screen fades, the audience is left with one final lingering question. Who will they save next? Because we know they won't stop. We know that as long as the city is full of people in alleyways, as long as there are people who are desperate enough to steal, they will be there, waiting with an open hand and a firm path forward. And that, more than anything else, is why we will always come back to see what happens in the Jack Tu Tien story world. Because in a world that is so often dark, they are the light, and we all need a little more light. This is not just a drama, it is a philosophy. It is a way of living that prioritizes the long game of human transformation over the short game of immediate retribution. It's a philosophy that teaches us that when we give someone a second chance, we are really just giving ourselves a chance to see how far our own compassion can go. It's a philosophy that makes us better people, even as we watch from the other side of the screen. The journey of the girl is the key to this narrative's emotional resonance. We watched her go from being a shadow in an alley to the light of the company, and in doing so, we saw our own potential for change reflected back at us. We learned that the person we are at our lowest point is not the person we have to remain. We learned that forgiveness is a practice, that kindness is a muscle, and that hope is a decision that must be made over and over every single day. And as we leave them, the farm, the office, and the city behind, we feel a sense of completion. The story has come full circle. The cycle has been interrupted. The future has been rewritten. And the legacy of Jack and Tu Tien is secure, not because of the money they have made, but because of the lives they have mended. And that, in the final analysis, is the most profound success of all. Their story is a journey, an evolution, and a testament to the strength of the human spirit. It is a story of love, of sacrifice, and of the enduring power of family. It is a story that resonates with anyone who has ever built something beautiful out of the wreckage of their past, anyone who has ever stood up to protect the things they love, and anyone who has ever dared to hope for a better tomorrow. As the credits roll, the audience is left with a profound sense of satisfaction, a feeling that they have witnessed something meaningful, something real, and something that touches the core of the human experience. And as they reflect on the journey of Jack and Tu Tien, they are reminded that they too have the power to build, to protect, and to survive. They too are the architects of their own fate, the defenders of their own sanctuary, and the creators of their own enduring legacy of hope. The legacy of Jack and Tu Tien is one that will continue to inspire, to move, and to uplift long after the final frame has faded. It is a story that speaks to the heart, a story that resonates with the soul, and a story that reminds us all that as long as there is love, there is always hope. And as long as there is hope, there is always a way to build a future, no matter how steep the climb or how dark the night. Their story is a light, a beacon, and an inspiration. It is a reminder that even when the shadows are long, the light can still shine through. It is a story of hope, a story of love, and a story of a legacy that will last forever. And it is a story that will continue to remind us all that no matter what happens, love will always be the strongest force in the world. So, let us keep the story of Jack and Tu Tien in our hearts as we navigate our own journeys. Let us be inspired by their courage, moved by their love, and strengthened by their resilience. And let us always remember that, as long as we have each other, we have the strength to build a future that is truly our own, a future that is built on the solid foundation of hope. The journey of Jack and Tu Tien is a story of survival, growth, and love. It's a journey that teaches us to value the things that matter, to protect the ones we love, and to always hold on to hope, even when the path is uncertain. And it's a story that reminds us all that, in the end, love is the most powerful force in the world, the only thing that can truly save us from ourselves, and the only thing that can ever truly set us free. This, then, is the legacy of Jack and Tu Tien, a story of love, a story of hope, and a story that will never, ever be forgotten. It is a legacy that will continue to grow, to evolve, and to inspire, long after the final curtain has fallen. And it is the beginning of a life that is truly and authentically their own. The door to their world remains open, the lights are still burning, and the work of building a better life continues, one act of kindness at a time. The legacy is alive, and it is waiting for the next chapter.